in Hollywood and people pretty much around the world who are big supporters of this event, and just like this growing, it's not a popularity, but it's not a trend either. It should be like a lifestyle. It's something that's going forward for all of us. So I think an event like this needs promotion like this, and so that.
Well, you've definitely got star power out here. You've got yourself out here. You've got Ed Begley, Raphael, John Savage was here. You've definitely got the awareness from the Hollywood community.
And I've done projects with Gay, and John Ratz is the founder. We work around the world, and we work in Hollywood specifically to help make a lot of productions green and eco-friendly, and just I think that we have to start somewhere, and in production would be the way to go. That's pretty much how you get the set to be green. So I think it's important to see them doing that. And it's nice, and it's going to change and it's going to evolve, and it's going to take some time, but I think it's a good start. Yeah, and kudos, to them for doing this, and I'm glad to be here to support it. Yeah.
Well, before we let you go, what projects are coming up for you? Where can we see you?
Well, there's a few things going on. I'm working on a film right now. There's a film that I was involved in Cannes last year as a producer, a stylist, and also an actor. I was only cast for it. It just evolved into everything else. So that's actually doing the festival circuit soon. We're recutting it. And it's spelling up the name, I guess I should say. It's Sulinh, S-U-L-I-N-H, and La Fontaine, L-A-F-O-N-T-A-I-N-E. Thank you.
Sulinh, thank you for joining us tonight.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And I am here with Kate Linder from CBS's Young and the Restless. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And what brings you out to Evox tonight?
Well, I think this is great. I'm here to support the whole green movement and Ed Begley, and they sort of go hand in hand. They're sort of synonymous. When you say Ed, you sort of think of green as well. So it's a good thing.
And what are your thoughts on us as a population in general going more green, getting away from the fossil fuels and all of those types of things, the things that Ed Begley espouses?
Well, I think he's right, and he was pretty, he was on board pretty early in this whole movement, and when people were looking at him going, oh, sure, you're going to ride your bike, you don't drive a car, I mean, oh, come on. But, he's right, because we only have one planet, and it's up to us to take care of it, and when the resources are gone, they're going to be gone. And when you think just about the plastic, when you just think about, like, it's a very warm day today, and you drink water, which you should, and you're drinking in plastic bottles, and how many of those do you go through, and what happens to them? And when you start thinking of all that, it's sort of mind-boggling.
Now, there's a lot of people in the industry, a lot of them, they talk about environmental awareness and different things like that. Ed's one of the few people who actually walks the walk and talks the talk. Talk to me about the admiration of that kind of mindset, taking it from talk to actual action.
Well, he absolutely does. He doesn't just talk about it. And what he says, he does. And you're never going to catch him not doing it, because that's not what he believes in. And he believes in that, and I think he's right. So, you just think about going to the dry cleaners, and if you took a cloth bag with you, instead of using, putting your clothes, and then have them put your clothes in there, instead of all that plastic, you just think of how much plastic, what do you do with it? You take those clothes home to the dry cleaners, what do you do with all the plastic? There's just tons of it. And that we're just like you and me. And then what about all the other people? That's a lot of plastic. So that could save just right there.
And Kate Linder, what can we expect from you this season on Young and the Restless, if you know?
Well, you got to watch it. It's actually, quite exciting right now. It always is. We're the #1 show. And, 40 years. We've been 28 years #1 without missing a week. I just fortunate enough to celebrate my 31st year. So
congratulations.
Thank you. And I recently shot a film with Katie Holmes called Miss Meadows that should be out maybe, in, not sure, spring, summer, something like that. So I'm excited about that. So we'll see.
Well, Kate Linder, we're going to look forward to that, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Chin Thomas Sanksy, Newswire L.A. and RichGirlNetwork.tv, and I am here with John Savage. John, it's good to see you today. I have been a follower of your career since your early days, The Deer Hunter, Hair, and of course my top movie, The Onion Field. Throughout your entire career, you've played a number of, I think you can only call them intense characters.
Well, I think It's like I think when my daughter, when she was small, she would hang with us and making films with us and with the people I was working with, and go to the screenings we would have after a day's shoot. And before anybody would say anything, she'd heard it so many times, she would look at me and like see some of the film and, Dad, you're tense again. So I think there's a great deal of just shyness that may be part of my desire to just live out my fantasies and dreams. I was an avid reader as a youngster, and I still have this just great excitement and joy about the world and what's going on in different parts of our world, and I care about a lot of the people that are going through things.
And you're out here with a lot of people you have worked with over the years, Ed Begley, Raphael, all of the people out here. This is actually
There's a lot of people that are much younger than me. I'm glad, you know. They're the ones actually keeping the younger generation they're really facing a lot. And some, you know, I remember I was really burning when I was young. Thank God I started working very young, and I didn't respect a lot of my own health, and I had kids very young. That helped me a little bit more, maybe, by having kids and having a family, to overcome some of my fears and of not making enough money, of not doing well enough, of being there for them, period, as best as I could.
In watching your career over the years, there's a lot of actors out there who will take any job and every job that comes their way. I don't think you're that kind of guy. You always seem to have been selective about the different projects you've done. Again, a lot of landmark projects like The Onion Field, Hair, The Deer Hunter, etc.
And the work that I get to do is probably because it's the only kind of work that I can do, that people who want something that I've got to be a part of what they're doing. And I've worked with a lot of young people with very little money for films, and I'm grateful. There's this it may not get seen, but I've been able to work in many countries around the world, thank God, because of the films that I've been able to do that were world-renowned. But, you know, it's like talking to you. Why did you pick me to talk to? There's a lot of great people here. Yeah, so.
And John, tell us why you're here tonight.
I love things like this because it brings people together and we can talk and we can see what other people are doing and what they're involved with. And I think your station, I think, is taking on a very important step, and I'll do everything I can to support that. Right on. We have a large planet, and it always, you know, the idea that things will just be okay and go the way they're supposed to, that's still not an acknowledgement that we're involved in an important changing time that is maybe, and I think very seriously, affected by our lack of concern about what we're doing to our environment. And there's ways we can help, not only by learning more about the possible changes that have occurred in the past, whether it's drought and fire and earthquake, but where we could be prepared better and protect ourselves from perhaps causing more damage than we can handle. You know, money doesn't solve everything. So I feel there's also tremendous areas for growth in our economy. I'm an advocate for our veterans. I think their experience is tremendous and sometimes just not understandable how much courage is necessary after they've served in some of their situations. I think our young people are going through a lot of experiences in many ways that need to be respected, and education, of course, is our most important tool.
Well, I got to tell you, big fan. It's like I asked for you personally to come down here.
It's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you. As you may have gathered, I'm a big fan of John Savage's work, and I had one more request to ask of him: a photo. John was gracious enough to oblige. Standing here with him was quite a thrill indeed. I want to thank my green carpet neighbor, Linder Garcia, for taking this photo. That's her holding the camera. It capped off a great day here in Pasadena. And that's it for this edition of Newswire L.A. and RichGirlNetwork.tv. We thank you for joining us, and for everything Newswire L.A., look us up on Facebook and Twitter at Newswire L.A. I'm your host, Chin Thomas Sanksy, saying good night, and we'll see you back here next time. Stay tuned for more news on this Westlake Signal station.